icebreaker.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
We keep lingering on to those memories that you shared on Saturday, and we covet those moments that we were in the city and we couldn't face that. But we hope to join the next one. It's diarized. Thank you so much, Power Monday. Allow me to delve directly into today's poem. It's titled With You. Like with me, with everything that I have, with you, everything that you have, starting from your eyes, your ears, your legs, your everything, with you. Drift, you gleam, thoughts in silent streams, bright and morning beams, you are more than you seem. With your eyes, you see wide the sky and the seas, light in clarity, truth in every plea, vision that sets you free. With you is you. With your ears, you hear whispers, drowning near songs both that are near and far, voices that you deem to reveal, meaning that are so loud. With you, you hear. With your hands, you feel life in all that is so real, grips with time that can't still, shapes what can reveal, a touch that becomes a seal. With you. With your feet, you go fast and steady, slow paths you come to know, seeds that steps that you sow, with growth begins to show. With your feet, you go. With yourself you stay, night and every day, come what may, you sway, never drift away, you will find your way. With you is you. With your heart, you beat that's strong and sweet and the hope, and each repeat, it beats again and again. With love, it makes life complete. With you is your heart. With your voice, you rise, truth beyond disguise, echoes through the skies, power that never lies, courage that never dies. With you. With all of you, you grow more than you may know. High and deep, you know that you flow. With you is you, with you, you glow, and because with you is you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's fantastic. That's fantastic with you. Yes. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, welcome to Power Monday. Power Monday is just the only one of its kind. We congregate every Monday morning to learn, to set our week in motion, in positive direction. And we keep learning. We know that when we stop learning, we stop growing. So I'm always here, your host, Otieno Paul Peter, to ensure that we keep learning. And so I want to welcome the person who is to introduce our guest speaker for the day, and that's Cynthia.
Thank you, OPP. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It is my pleasure to introduce today's speaker. She is a Nairobi-based personal growth, business and leadership coach, as well as a board mentor, a vision board mentor. She is the founder and CEO of Alycer Coaching Limited, an organization that is dedicated to developing authentic business leaders for this and future generations. With over 20 years of experience in people and business development, she began her career in the pharmaceutical industry, where she served in various sales and marketing leadership roles. Notably, as a sales manager, she trained and mentored young medical representatives in sales skills, market analysis, and people management. Since 2020, she's been practicing as a professional coach working with organizations and individuals to strengthen their leadership capacity and drive business growth. She has trained over 200 leaders and is a certified trainer under the ILOSYB program. She holds a postgraduate diploma from the Chartered Institute of Marketing, a master's degree in leadership as well. She's deeply passionate about people development, and she believes that organizations grow when they intentionally invest in their people. So my question is, are we investing in our people, those who are founders and those who are leading organizations? She's also a speaker and author on personal growth and vision building. In addition to her coaching work, she serves as a board member of Polycare Wellness Center, and she's previously served as a board chair of Philemon Ministries. She has a great passion for Christ, and she serves in her local church where she leads women, and her role involves training and developing leaders. Please join me in welcoming Madam Alice Ngigi. Karibu sana, Alice.
Thank you so much, Cynthia, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you, Paul, for the invitation to just come and share briefly what I have and what I know. So allow me to share my screen. And as I share my screen, I want to repost that question that Cynthia has said. Are we developing our people? So we will be looking at that, and hopefully by the end of this, I hope we will be able to have a clearer picture of why that is important for us to develop the people that work for us. I want to believe that you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Great, I see the notes. Yeah, so thank you very much. So the topic that I was given was high performance equation, where strategy meets soul. And in today's world, we know that the competitive edge is not going to be coming from technology. It will not come from the capital that you have. It's going to come from a people who are well empowered, people who are well trained, skilled, as well as people who are well aligned. So if you get those three correctly, you are sure that your people or your organization is going to be a high performance organization. Surprisingly, our slogan at Alycer Coaching, we say, grow your people to grow your business, because we believe people play a very critical role in helping you perform well or grow as a business. So how does the people development give you the highest return on investment? Because that is what we are saying. When you develop your people, you're likely to see a growth, actually a spur in growth of your organization. Traditionally, we need to remember that organizations were actually created for control. They were designed for control. For those who are a little older, you will know that one of the very critical role that a manager played in an organization was actually control. So organizations traditionally are designed for control. They were designed for efficiency and for predictability. And it's not a wonder that today, when we have across generations, we are having a lot of conflicts arising, because the younger millennials and the Gen Zs are not going to have you control them. That control will not work. So what do we do? Because of course we need to see organizations work. There needs to be a structure, and it needs to actually align with the people. So that is what we'll be discussing today. So people development, and I dare say that this is your highest return on investment. Organizations invest a lot in their systems. They invest a lot in infrastructure. They can even invest in marketing. But we see a lot of times organizations underinvest in developing their people. And when we understand the importance of developing our people and put a little more budget there, then we'll probably see a spur in growth in our organizations. So The first way that people development delivers for you highest return on investment is when you develop your people, when you build your people, when you give them a skill, that skill compounds. How does that work? When you give them skill, you increase or boost their confidence. When your employees feel their confidence has been boosted, it becomes very easy for them to have a sense of ownership in the business. When they have a sense of ownership, then it means that when they are working and when they are operating whatever role they are doing it out of desire to do it because they have that sense of ownership. Number two, when you develop your people, it multiplies impact. You're not just looking at the numbers that the people are bringing, but it has an impact, a direct impact on the decisions that are made within the organization. It has a direct impact on building a positive culture in the organization. And that is important if you're going to build organizations that are high performance. Whether you're managing a team, whether you're running your own business, this applies equally. And also very, very importantly is that when you develop your people, it reduces the hidden costs. What are those hidden costs? The staff turnover goes down. Remember, we have just said that if you're still managing your people in the olden days where we talked about control, you're not likely to have it well with the younger generation who are looking for meaning in the work that they do. They're looking for growth and they're looking for alignment. So some of those hidden costs can really cost your business. Another hidden cost is having, it reduces disengagement among employees. Disengagement has actually been said to be one of the greatest costs that you can ever have in an organization. I remember, I think it was 2024, I did an article that was published in the Standard, and I had titled it Quiet Quitting. And that is the hidden cost of disengaged employees. It is a lot more than competition. It's a lot more than what bad economy can do for you. If you have disengaged workers, that is a huge cost. They already quit on you, but they are there waiting for you to pay them. So you can imagine you're paying them and they're doing the bare minimum. That is a very huge cost. So when you develop your people, that tends to reduce that hidden cost that we normally do not talk about. And I want you to be a bit engaging. I want you to go to the chat and tell me, when we talk about high performance, what comes to your mind? When we talk about performance, what comes to your mind? You can go to the chat and put that, and I'll be looking at it as we go on. Now, the other thing that developing your people does is that you bridge the gap. There's usually a gap between the corporate structure and the human potential. And that's why we are talking about now today, developing the human capital in the organization. And we are not saying that you leave the structure, because we must have a structure. But even as we design our strategies, as we come up with them, if we are leaving the human element from it, then it is going to be difficult for us. So how do we bridge that gap? We have to be deliberate and intentional about mind shift. We must move from managing people to developing human beings, human potential. Yes, it is important. There must be somebody who is leading. Today, if you're a leader managing a team, if all you do is supervise them, then you're missing grit, a lot of potential. You need to understand the people that work for you. You need to understand their strengths. You need to understand their potential. You need to also understand what they care about. So that shift must happen, that you are not just focused on a structure, but we are also focused on the human element. Remember, you have invested greatly, whether in the machines, in the systems, in whatever you are doing, but the person managing those is a human being. So if you're not developing that person, then we are not likely to get the best or the maximum from the things that we are intending to get. Then the other thing is alignment. I have already alluded to this. Today's employee is asking, why this job? Why do I need it? What is the meaning? Am I getting meaning out of it? And employees want to find meaning. So if they cannot see that connection in the work they do, then it is going to be difficult. And when I am at this, let me say that one of the things that I have seen with a lot of business owners, there is something we call the mission and the vision statement. That is what explains to the people who come to work for you, or to the people you serve as your customers, why your business exists. That is the question the mission statement answers. So when your employees can see themselves in the mission, they can understand how their work contributes to the success or to the mission of that organization, then you can be sure they will be bought out. Performance for them is going to become natural. The sad reality is, because we see this when we go to train, people don't think much about the mission statement. In fact, there are places I have seen people who have been there for a number of years and they cannot tell you what the mission statement is. It is sad. So today, and I want you to put it in the chat, in the organization where you work or in the organization that you're running, do the people who work there understand the mission statement? Because if they don't, then how are they going to help us succeed? That's a question for you to ponder. Number one, if you're a business owner and your people don't understand your mission well, it is also a question to ponder if you're working in an organization and the people you're managing or even yourself are not very clear on the mission. Once that alignment is lacking, then high performance is going to be something that we may not really achieve. But when people understand, I am coming to this office, I sit in this office as an accountant, and the reason why I sit here and work is because I understand why this company exists. I am bought wholly to what they do, and I feel very good helping this company succeed. That way you will not argue with the people. So that is usually a bit of misalignment that we see, but once you get that well, then high performance will become natural for your company. Then it is also important for you to bridge that gap, to always create a space for ownership. How do you do that? I have already said that people come to work and they're asking themselves questions. Is this a company I want to work for? What do they stand for? Is there meaning in the work that we do? When they get that, it becomes easy. Unfortunately, in the Odin structure, and it's not really our problem. We are in the developing countries, and in the developing countries, we are countries that we call high-powered distant companies. That is the culture. So you find that our companies are very hierarchical. We haven't really moved there from a very hierarchical company, meaning that the people who are very low in the company will find it very difficult to get to the people who are at the top. That tends to create a leadership of fear. And a leadership of fear, people cannot grow, people cannot thrive when there is fear. So you must be intentional in creating that safe space for them, creating what we call the psychological safety, embracing failure so that people have freedom to experiment. They can bring their ideas. They know that they will not be bashed if they fail, because failure is what will help them learn. But if you bash or shun failure, then people tend to shy away. Creativity gets muzzled. Innovation is thrown out of the window. But when you create that space, someone feels, I can actually come with my idea. My idea is welcome here. That is an organization that is going to thrive. That is an organization that is going to be a high-performing organization. So are you creating that safe space for people to come and bring their ideas? That will create ownership. And that is important when we talk about high performance. Now, the other thing, because all we are doing is trying to grow our businesses, and we know that we can't grow our businesses without the customer, we must also ask ourselves, are we creating a good customer experience? And there is a statement that I will say there, I'll share it towards the end of this slide. How are your customers, your internal customers who are your employees? How is their experience? They cannot really give what they have not experienced. If you're expecting them to give very exceptional customer experience and they don't have that experience, then it's going to be very difficult for them to do that. So you need to ask yourself, do we listen to our customers well? Do they feel valued? Do they feel respected? So how do we create that customer experience? We must start internally. Your employee is your first customer. If your employee is not experiencing your company or you well, you can be sure they will not be in a position to give that experience to the customer. That experience that you would want your customers to have, the wowing them, knowing that you're valuing them, you're respecting them. If you're not doing it to our employees, it will be very difficult for them to actually reciprocate that to the customers out there. And one of the questions that I like posing is, if you're a CEO in an organization, would you actually see the people that are your employees? If you see a replica of them, not your employees, because your employees, you see them, but if you're in your office and your PA tells you there is someone out here seeing you, wanting to see you, and they are a replica of the people that you have in your organization, would you be excited to see them? That's a question to ponder. Because if you can't, then you can be sure other CEOs are not going to see your people, the people who work for you. So you don't, if you're going to expect high performance from your people, we must listen to them. We must respect them. We must value them so that they feel valued and they get that sense of ownership. That way, they will naturally give of themselves. All right? The other thing that you need to do is to empower employees. 2 weeks ago, I was sitting with a friend of mine who is a HR consultant, and she told me one of the challenges that she sees as she assists and helps business owners in the area of HR, because most of them, especially the small business owners, do not have that. They don't have the capacity to hire a full HR, so they outsource those services. So she told me one of the challenges that she sees with business owners is, even as we grow, we forget that we need to keep letting go of some things. There is nothing as frustrating as when every decision that has to be made by one person. As the business owner or you're the manager, people have to keep calling you. That is very frustrating. So you can empower your employees. Let them make the decisions at the level where they are. Decisions that may not be very consequential, but they are decisions that will help them serve your customers well. But where you find that they have to keep calling to get approval, to get authority, that cannot create high performance. Even the employees will feel fatigued. The customers cannot be served well. So we need to check such things. Are we allowing our employees even to solve the small problems that they encounter in real time? That is what will create the great customer experience that you are expecting from your employees to give your customers. Now, this is very interesting because I know a lot of times we say, don't bring emotions to strategy. And so we tend to throw emotions out and lock it. But today we are saying incorporate emotions. As you design your systems, as you design your processes, you must have it at the back of your mind. How will the customer feel about this process? How will they feel about this step? And I want to give you a simple illustration here for me to drive that point home. Let's assume that you have gone to the hospital, you have seen a doctor, and the doctor has told you, I want you to go to the lab or to the X-ray department today to take this test. And you go to the lab, and the lab, they take whatever they need to take and tell you, your results will be ready in 2 days, so come back on Wednesday. And you go back to the hospital on Wednesday to the lab to pick your results. And the person at the reception says, okay, just give me a minute, let me find out. And they come back and tell you, oh, sorry, the results are not ready. They say that they'll be ready tomorrow. what do you think that customer will feel? How would you feel if you were to counter that kind of a scenario? And I know it happens quite a lot, not probably in the hospital, but it happens many times. You want a service, you had been told to come on this day, you go there on that particular day, and the result or whatever you needed is not ready. But someone did not call you up front to tell you, please don't come today. We encountered a challenge. The results are not ready. Come tomorrow. Someone did not think, the person in the lab did not even think much about how will the customer feel. So even as we are designing our systems, as we are designing our processes, at every touch point, we must think about the customer journey and think about every touch point and see where could the customer be getting frustrated? Where is our customer likely to feel unheard or likely to feel that like we didn't care? So if we don't incorporate that as you're coming up with your processes, as you're coming up with your systems, then you're not likely to create exceptional customer experience. You must also begin to ask yourself as you look at the customer journey, where can we win the customer? Where can we surprise the customer? Maybe they expected the results to be out in 3 days, in 2 days, as you told them. But in a day and a half, the results are out. You've called them, the results are ready. And they say, oh, wow. Oh, the results are already out. How you wow your customer. So begin to now think about the emotions. What will be going on through the mind of that customer as we touch at every point in the customer journey. So that way, you will be creating great customer experience. And when your employees understand that, you've already incorporated them as well, you have allowed them to come and also share and give their contributions, that would be important. Now, when I talked about high power distant cultures, in the olden days, we used to get orders. These are the instructions. This is what needs to happen. And I can tell you as a fact, you cannot create great customer experience by having your employees just follow instructions. That is not going to happen. So we must empower them. We must ensure that the decisions they need to make, we allow them, we give them that authority to make that decision to be able to serve our customers well. The other thing is you have to close the feedback loop. How many of you get frustrated when you go to a place, you've been asked for feedback, you've given your feedback, you come back a month later, whatever they ask, they're asking the same question, but they have not really done anything. There is no change. Nothing has happened. And so you're wondering, why are you asking me for feedback? If you're not going to implement it, why are you then asking? So for you to create that customer experience, you must be someone who acts. You must act quickly when you get feedback. You must also communicate. If something cannot be done, let the people know that, yes, we heard you, but this is in the process, or we have not completed it yet, but we heard you. That helps people also be eager to give you feedback. When you see that people are not really eager to give you feedback, go back and ask, did we take feedback that we did not implement? That way, you will be saving yourself and you'll be helping yourself create great customer experience. So this is the statement that I said I will share. Customer experience is a direct reflection of employee experience. And I want you to ponder on that. If you're leading a team, how is the employee experiencing? Because then that is going to be how they serve your customer. If their employee experience is not as great, don't expect them to give great customer experience. You cannot give what you do not experience. If they haven't experienced it, it's going to be very difficult for them to have the customer experience it, and they haven't experienced it as well. But when we understand that our customers are our employees are our first customers, then we will endeavor to give them great customer experience. That way they will be able to give our customers exceptional customer experience. Now, I have been talking a lot about the organization, but now I want to shift gear to focus on the employee, and that employee who is a high performer. And I want to go to the field of football. I may not be very good in the field of football, but I want to ask a question. In a team, I know we love the EPL, but let me go to the Spanish league. In Barcelona, who would you describe as the as a franchise player, as the key player, either past or present? Who would be a key player? Let me ask Paul, because I believe you love football. Maybe you can tell us who is a key player in Barcelona.
I don't know. I only know that there is Gorma here.
In Gol Mahia, who is the key player?
No, I only know that there is Gorma here. I don't know people play. Well, I stopped following football when I joined the university. I found it too cultic. I told myself never.
There's chaotic following. Who
I
can
told
help us? Someone can even put their hand up and we see, because there is something that I want us to learn from football.
they can put it in the chat. Yeah, Messi. Somebody is saying Messi.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yes, at
okay.
least I have heard of Messi. I know Messi. So Messi, we can look at Messi, and I believe most of us know that name. Maybe we know him as a player. He is a franchise player. The people will say this is a top-notch player. I can bet that Barcelona. I can bet that Barcelona has even insurance for him, because they would not want anything to happen to him. Now, that franchise player cannot take that team to where that team wants to go by themselves. All right? So the franchise player here is your top performer. That is your star performer. So as a leader, one of the things you need to ask yourself, do I know who my franchise player is? Who is this player that gels the team, that makes the team be the team that we want it to be? A high performer, the star performer. Nowadays, I see organizations hiring people called talent acquisition, talent I can't remember how it's called, but it's something to do with acquiring talent. And it is a good thing, because you need to understand who you have in your team. You may be having a star performer who is still in potential because you have not quite understood. And one of the things that I keep telling managers as we get to them and as we train them is that you need to be very good in listening to the people in your team. Listen to what they are saying. Listen even to what they are not saying. That way you will be able to gain a lot. Why does this matter to them? Why is it important to them? And number two, and we don't do that a lot, you need to observe. Observing is so important. Observing the people in your team. Just see them. Observe them from a distance, and you'll be able to pick quite a lot. It will help you see, well, how do they do things? Why do they do it that way? Then, of course, talking. But what do? Many times we tend to talk more. And even when we listen to respond, never to understand. So we need to shift that. Listen attentively. Gauge yourself on what we call the listening continuum. You can be a passive listener where you're just listening to respond. You can be an active listener where you are quite engaged and people feel, yes, you have heard me, but you need to endeavor to move to what we call the empathic listening, because that way then you're almost putting yourself into the shoes of that person. You're feeling them. It's not just about the words. You can also see the emotions that they have. So when you have a franchise player, you must treat them as such. If you're not treating your star performers as franchise, then you're losing. And before long, they will be stolen by someone else who will get to understand that talent. Okay? You must endeavor to continuously grow them. And when we talk about growing the leader, we are not just talking about growing that person who is in leadership. A company that is a high-performing company is a company that is able to train or to develop leaders very quickly, so that you have a pool of leaders. Everybody in the organization is a leader per se. They can make decisions wherever they are. They can lead themselves well. They can lead whatever you ask them to do, because you have grown them. You have empowered them. That is what is going to have to get you to high performance. That is what will give your customers exceptional customer experience. And I want to say here that when you become a high performer, people get to notice you. Then people will start copying what you're doing. They will start looking. Can they get that person who is the star performer? They will start to get to them and offer them offers, give them offers to leave. And don't worry about that. Competition will always be there. But I need you to understand there is something that nobody can steal from you or copy from you, and that is your culture. So when you have a star performer, is that the only person that you put all your resources on? Is that the only person you talk about? Because remember, a star performer cannot really make a team great by themselves. They need the rest of the people. For Messi, a footballer, he will have to depend on the people who are giving him the ball so that he can score. He cannot be the only one in the field. That is why you have 11 people in that team. So you have to know that every member of that team is important. How are they contributing to the success of this team? When you build that culture and build it and make it strong and positive, nobody can steal that. Nobody can copy that. So you need to sit with your team and ask, how do we want to be known? How do we want people to see how we do things? How do we do things here? Because that is how you build your culture. Of course, I have talked about listening. It is important for us to learn to listen. We think we actually listen, but we are very poor listeners. Especially leaders, we are always accused of they don't listen to us, they don't hear us. And when employees see that you don't listen, they will feel unheard, they will feel undervalued. And before you know it, even your star performer will be leaving your organization. So learn to listen. I have talked about culture. Culture is king, and nobody can really copy your culture. They can copy your brand, they can copy your marketing strategy, they can copy whatever they want to copy, but they can never copy your culture. So build a culture that is a high performance culture. Build a culture where every member of your organization or your team feels valued. That way, you will be building a culture that will help you to move from just an ordinary performing organization to a high performing organization where your customers experience great customer service. And we have to endeavor to win together. As I have said, even when you have a high performing person who is your franchise player, they can't deliver by themselves. So you need to be careful how you're hiring. The attitude, when you have created that culture, then it becomes very easy for you to define the kind of person you want. You know the values that you want, you stand for. You know what it is that you're looking at, the kind of attitude that you're looking for. Because when you hire wrong, you bring in the wrong person, that person that you have brought can come and mess your entire team. So hiring is extremely important. If you want to win together, we must define our culture. We must define who we want to bring to our team. It is important as a leader also to understand every person's potential. When people come to an organization or a team, you need to understand why have they come to this team. When I go to train organizations, one of the questions I like asking the employees is, why are you here in this organization? I want to understand what is their motive, what is their goal, why in this team, why not another organization that does the same thing? That way, you get to understand what matters to them. And when you understand what matters to them and help them achieve it, then you can be sure that they will performing naturally will be easy. We talked about alignment. When you can align their objectives, their personal goals, because many times in organizations, we talk about the personal, the company organization, the company goals, the organizational goals, but rarely do we ask the people what their goals are. And remember, they are individuals, they are human beings, they came with goals, they came with their plans. So if you don't understand what is important to them, then you will not be able to help them align. So always ensure that you are asking the right questions. Why is this important to you? How have you grown since you joined our team? Those are questions that you can ask, and it will help you find out what is important to them, because when you help them achieve what is important to them, then they are also going to help you achieve what is important for the organization. It is also important to ensure that every person understands their role very clearly. Where there is raw confusion, there's going to be a lot of conflict. And where there is conflict, you cannot expect high performance from that kind of a team. So every person needs to understand their role very clearly. They need to understand how that role helps the company achieve the objective that they have. And once they understand and see how they are aligned, it becomes very easy for them to be able to perform at a higher level. It's also important to come up with a team mission. Remember, we have talked about the company's mission. Why is the company there? Why does it exist? If you're leading a team, ensure that you have something that is going to bind that team together, helping the team understand and taking pride in what you're creating together as a team. When they see it and understand it and buy into it, you can be sure they will put in their effort there, because people are very proud of what they help create or help they support what they have created. If you involve them and they own it, then they are going to be very proud, making it come to completion. Now, as I come to conclude, so that we have a bit of time for questions, it's just a summary. You have to take it at the back of your mind that everybody deserves to be led well. And so the question that we need to keep asking ourselves as leaders, are we leading our people well? And there is an activity that we usually give leaders when we coach them. We tell them, how would it feel to be coached by you? Or how would it feel to be led by you? That helps you now reflect back on yourself, on your leadership style, and ask yourself, is this the way I would want to be led? If not, then try to lead in a good way. Always try to be the leader that people want to work for. And a leader that people want to work for is a leader who empowers people, a leader who develops people. Because if I come in and all you're telling me is pointing at my mistakes, oppressing me, silencing me, then that is not going to be someone I want to work for. I want to work for someone who is giving me space to grow, someone who is helping me connect with what is important for me, someone who is actually showing me hope. And that is the next point. So as a person working, also be that person who is a high achiever, that people are going to look up to you. Be that franchise player in a team that people are saying, wow, if so-and-so is here, we are sure we are going to win. Be that person that people can have confidence in. And so you can imagine if everybody comes with that attitude to the team, I want to be that person who is achieving. Not that you're silencing everybody else, because we said you can never achieve at high level alone on your own. You need everybody else. But having that ambition, that desire as an individual to be a high achiever, that is very important. And finally, be a leader who offers hope and significance, not someone who is always saying it cannot be done. Oh, the economy is so bad. People get tired. When there's so much negativity, that the environment becomes very toxic, and that way nobody will perform at their best. So it is important for you as a leader to be the person giving hope, to be the person telling them, no, we can make it. It is doable. Others have done it. We can do it. Make sure that you're giving hope, you're speaking hope, you're positive. Goes back to the culture. How is the culture? The culture that we are creating, because that one, nobody can actually take it from us. Nobody can copy it. If we build a culture where everybody feels a sense of responsibility, a sense of ownership, then you will be creating a high performance team. And I would want to pause there and maybe see what you had said. I had posed a few questions. I don't know whether you can read for me some of them.
Thank you. We will go to that. We will go to question Q&A question, and people, you are encouraged to put the questions and comments online. I will help you through with that. Maybe as we go through that, as people are continuing to put, I'd just like to mention that Power Monday is co-sponsored by Live Your Dream, ICT Gurus, and Falcon Insights Global. Yes, Falcon, you can just say hello. It's been a while since we saw you.
Thank you, OPP. The name is Falcon Insights Global Consulting Limited. So OPP, you should mention the name in full. Thank you, Alice, for that brilliant conversation. It's true that you can have a brilliant strategy, but if your people are not engaged, if they are misaligned, then execution will suffer. So at Falcon, one of the things that we do is we work to be at the bringing the strategy, systems, and people together. And we do this by offering strategic business planning support, human resource management services, that is from organization review to defining the job roles, and finally ensuring that you have measurable targets for the team. And we also work to support towards compliance. So basically what we do at Falcon, we partner with organizations to turn strategy into something practical and something that is executable, so that our strategies are not just there gathering dust on our shelves or in our laptops. So I'm happy to partner with Power Monday, because at Power Monday we continue to build a community, we continue to share knowledge, and really we continue to make a difference in our small and little ways. Thank you, OPP.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Alice. You can also put your telephone number or contacts in the chat, Alice, for further consultations from people who may be willing or who want to know more. So some of the questions you asked, some people had responded here, but just a few. Some people said, when you asked about performance, somebody said, that was CPA Hesbon, said performance means hitting the KPIs. Hitting the KPIs. Yes. Juno Inaina said self-motivation. I'm in network marketing. My people write their own check. Susan said performance is achieving productivity and actualizing the organization's objectives and visions. Okay. Well, I don't know what you asked, but Eric reported they just report to work. I don't know whether that is performance means or that is how the people work there. You talked about mission. Now, Hesbon has asked, CPA Hesbon Moody, is knowing the mission and vision of the organization enough? Can we go beyond knowing to understanding what it means to my role and responsibilities within the organization? I don't know if you want to comment on that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
thank you, Hesbon. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Hesbon. And it is true. Remember, I said that many times you find that people in the organization do not even know the mission. Forget even trying now to understand. And it is sad because I usually ask myself, if the people working for you do not understand why your organization exists, because that is the mission, how are they going to help you? How are they going even to connect what they do to the success of that organization? So yes, the first thing that you need to do if you're leading a team, maybe this is not your organization, you're leading a team, and there is a mission and a vision for that organization. It is your responsibility as the leader to ensure that people understand why this mission, why this vision, why is it important? That way, then it is going to be very easy for you to help them understand how their roles contribute to the overall success of the organization? How will their role help the organization achieve their mission? So without that understanding, there is going to be a misalignment. Many times we miss it. We are hoping that people will just work and we will be successful as an organization. But I can assure you that if everybody working for you understands why it is important for their role is important for your success, then they are probably going to take it a little differently. So yes, we need to train people. Why this mission? Why does this company exist? Why is it important for it to be here? So that is important. You cannot understate the importance of understanding the mission and the vision of an organization. That way, the people then can see how their work contributes to their success.
Beautiful. Yeah, and Dr. Eda has mentioned there that we leave managers, not organizations. I think it's always said that people quit people, not
Not
companies.
organizations.
People
Yeah.
quit people, not companies. So it's good to know that. And well, you asked about the player and people put here, Lamin, Messi, whatever, and all those people. Yeah. So is knowing that one is already done. Rico Bwaka has said, working with Alycer Coaching has been a transformative experience for my professional journey. Their philosophy of growing your people to grow your business truly resonates in their delivery. Through their leadership empowerment programs, I gained the clarity, actionable strategies I needed to unlock my potential and all that. Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
other people are saying thank you there. I think for other questions, people can just wait a bit. We close the official part because we always need to close by 8:15, and then we can hang on. Alice will be there to keep us to answer the questions. Just to mention that so far, this is the last Power Monday session for this quarter, and the quarter has been great. We've had 13 sessions so far. The highest attendance was 197, and that was in February. The lowest was 97, again in February, and the average attendance has been 125. Yeah, that means that is per session. So we are doing well. We've done very well in this first quarter. We hope for a greater one in the next quarter. So, and I've posted some of the activities coming there. So I'd like to welcome Gashoka to pass a vote of thanks on our behalf. Gashoka, I believe you are there and ready.
Yes, I'm there, OPP.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Of course, it's a very good opportunity also to say thank you at a time that we are also closing quarter one. First is really to appreciate our Saturday experience. It was such a warm time that people really enjoyed a calabash of uji, and personally, I really enjoyed it. I think Power Monday is really becoming a very nice family. Thank you very much. So for today, I really want to thank Power Monday Board for continuing to make this session become a little spot for empowerment and a little spot for refreshment, mainly in our mind, and being able to look at aspects that we encounter every day from different angles. So kudos to the board of Power Monday. And also, I want to thank the sponsors from Live Your Dream and others, including Falcon. It's really very good that we are able to have sustainable sessions, and we don't take it for granted. I know it takes a lot of back-end work for this to be, even to make sure that we are almost getting things to the last point of the minute. Once again, also is to the fact that we are closing the quarter. It's always very good to thank everyone that has been giving this session the warmth that it requires, even for all of us who have been attending. It's very encouraging that we are all forming a supportive pillar for all of us. And lastly, I want to thank the speaker for today. I think this session has really brought out a very good aspect of the software that really goes into building organizations. And it's really a very good wake-up call because most of the time, maybe we remain so mechanical because of lashing many things. But that part has really awakened our mind in a very strategic way. And above all, we thank our Heavenly Father, our God, for continuing to give us good life. And from me, thank you very much, Power Monday, for the opportunity. My name is Gashoka Kangata, and looking forward to many more interactions. God bless you all.
Beautiful. And thanks for being part of Monday, for supporting, and for being there on Saturday. It was fantastic. Now, I'd like to invite Antonia, Power Monday, to make announcements, and then we can go to the second part, which is answering any other question that may be pending. Antonia, are you there? Antonia, okay. I saw Antonia here logged in. Spa Monday, and more so now that we had a session on Saturday. Well, just to mention that, yes, Antonia, go ahead. I see you are the other way around, but it's okay. Go ahead.
My phone looks upside down. Okay.
Just talk.
Everybody, good to see all of you. I'm glad to have joined this session. Thank you so much to our speaker of the day. And thank you everyone for creating time to join. Yeah, mine is to thank you all who created time to come for the meet and greet. It was indeed fun. I trust the photos are a good evidence. And looking forward to seeing you next time. And those who missed, kindly, this time plan early enough to be there. And there are also other activities that are aligned. And yesterday we were given a brief of all those activities that are coming up. And we have the children's visit, the children's home visit, which is in June, the first Saturday of June. And then we have the dinner and the last activity, another children's visit. So let's get aligned and make sure that we support these activities. Yeah, because like we've always been told here, you're worth your network. So let's come and network. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Antonia. So, like it's been said, our next activity will be on June 6th, and that will be a children's home visit, Precious Blood Children's Family. We mentor those children, we talk to them. They are from the streets, they're being handled by the nuns of the Precious Blood. And then next meet and greet will be on the 25th of July. We probably will go to the same venue for convenience and accessibility. So it means the investment would be more or less the same. And our dinner is coming up, and we'd like people to start putting their names, even just putting your name, and even if you are putting a small down payment, you can always pay in installments, and that will make it possible for us to secure the venue in time. Otherwise, and it will be at the Pan-Afric. For people who may want to join the Power Monday WhatsApp group, you are welcome to join. I'd placed a link there and I'll place it again. You need to fill in a form. Yeah, it's good to know the people who are there before just opening before just adding. So at this moment in time, I will ask somebody to close for us with a word of prayer, a volunteer.